Let's see. Live on Twitch. Stream has ended.
Oh, that's what your background is. That's what your icon is. Bro, I've been staring at your Nate video, like, portrait thing.
Oh, dude, I haven't changed that since we were roommates. You remember how... You remember that? Like, that is...
It looked like a face. And then I was like, oh. Now
I guess from a distance it kind of does look like this, doesn't it? I never thought of it that way.
Alright, we're back on.
Aware? Cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, so, I mean, yeah, it's a whole different world. I know we're probably going to talk about The Mandalorian with him, because he is definitely a big Star Wars guy. We want to talk about Book of Boba Fett, which I actually haven't watched, which I need to watch. And then, I mean, some other things that have come out this year. I mean, Hawkeye. What did you think of Hawkeye?
I enjoyed getting a Hawkeye standalone story. I think in every Marvel movie, it's so hard because Hawkeye is one of those characters. And it's always kind of been something where it's like, you have a world of superheroes around you, like Hulk, Iron Man, Cap. They give all these superheroes. And then you're like, all right, Hawkeye. He can shoot arrows really well, and he's deaf. Great.
Well, I'm actually happy they talked about him being deaf finally.
Yeah, they don't mention it ever, and it's one of his, like, biggest things, I think. At least the comic book wise, it's one of his biggest things, and I think that noticing that is finally you kind of understand him better, and I like it. I don't think it was bad. It wasn't like, mind blowing. It wasn't crazy. It didn't make my head hurt like watching WandaVision, but I think
what are you talking about? You weren't hoping Mephisto would be the villain at the end?
Oh my god, I wanted it so bad. My favorite thing to watch was everyone's like thoughts, like maybe it's this is Mephisto, but maybe it's that it's Mephisto, and it's like, oh.
I'm actually happy it wasn't Mephisto.
Yeah, it kind of saves Mephisto for something different, but I digress. I think Hawkeye it was a good story. It wasn't crazy, but I think that having a standalone kind of gives you more depth on a character that you probably wouldn't normally know about. Obviously, Hawkeye has his own movie yet, right? He's like
no. This was going to be basically his own movie. Yeah. Basically, there's talk of somewhere after the series him showing up a few more times, but realistically, it's being passed over to the more recent Hawkeye, who actually is my personal favorite Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, because she does things insanely. Like, at some point, she gets a teleporter, basically like Deadpool had for a while, and she can just teleport places into the air, shoot things, and it just gets insane.
Oh, but yeah, there's also in the world lots of comics. Lots of really cool comics came out in 2021. The notable ones that I kind of saw, Far Sector, Beta Ray Bill, and Immortal Hulk seem to kind of be on everyone's list.
Did you read the new Immortal Hulk? The one that was most recent?
I did not get to read the new Immortal Hulk. Is it cool? Is it awesome?
It takes a hard turn. Like, it's a good hard turn. It is definitely surprising. If you guys don't know, let's just say Starship Hulk is awesome. But check it out. I was surprised that they went that route. I don't know if you want me to tell you at all.
We can save it for a conversation off air, so to speak.
Okay. But yeah, no, Immortal Hulk, Nightwing, my favorite. Uh, if you guys don't know, my favorite superhero in the world is Nightwing because he is Batman, but he's not an asshole. And he did a lot of what Batman did without the money, and ironically now he has the money. And he's actually doing things better for the city, not just as Nightwing, but as Dick Grayson. He has a new villain named Heartless that is awesome, and I honestly recommend, if you haven't read it, especially this new series, go read it. It comes right out of the Joker War and all that. I also recommend Joker War if you haven't read that. But yeah,
Anything, by the way, as a broad term for Nate, Bat Family, just read all of it. Just
I don't recommend that actually. I don't, because Batgirl, the newer Batgirl comics, visually are great, but I honestly can't. I can't get behind Orphan or Sandra Kane. And there's several reasons why, but ultimately it's like I don't feel like they have that great of a story. Same with Signal, Duke Thomas. I liked the idea, but now that he's the Batman of the day, that's literally kind of what they describe him as. It's just kind of like, so he's just everyone else.
did they try to bring Signal to like be a bigger role in like the Dark Knight Steel series?
It was something about his blood or something like that. I don't remember. It it was something weird, like something with nth metal that's in him.
Ugh.
Like I don't. It was this whole complicated. Don't get me wrong, death metal and metal. The whole Dark Knight series is amazing, and I love Scott Snyder, and I will continue to read his comics, especially his new ones that he's releasing. Which, off the top of my head, I can't remember the names of. But yeah, no, they're great comics. It just sometimes it gets a little bit too.
Fair enough.
But I mean, what were you excited about this year? Like, what have you heard or read that really excited you?
The biggest thing, um, Nate is a huge Bat Family, Batman, Nightwing hero fan. I love Green Lantern so much so that Gus, or the one we keep talking about, admitted to me that I was the only person who bought Green Lantern comics. So that's the reason he kept buying them, which is crazy. Far Sector, which was a huge storyline of, I forget her name off the top of my head, character that goes and does detective work, and then eventually, uh, like the whole Green Lantern Corps falls to pieces, and she gets a ring. She dons the Green Lantern, and she's kind of like the newest one, which is crazy because I didn't know. I've been so in and out of comic books recently that I was like, "There's another one," because I was just getting used to Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz being the two Green Lanterns for the same place, and I was like, and now there's another one. So Far Sector was really cool. Kind of a crazy story of how everything just goes down, but that was probably the one that I found cool. Also, Beta Ray Bill, kind of an interesting story that everyone talked about. I don't know how to describe him. He's a Thor, basically.
What he's
Um,
what isn't he like a horseman?
he looks like a horseman. The way I could describe it, he kind of looks like in like the Darkest Night comics or Blackest Night comics. Sorry, the Orange Lantern, whatever his name is, who I can't think of it right now.
He's
The
BoJack
one
Horseman, but Thor.
yeah, it's crazy, but it's cool. It's a cool story. Just yeah, I think that was probably the biggest one that I saw was Far Sector, because it was so like surprising to me. I was like, they're already kind of, I thought with Rebirth, like two new lanterns, kind of, you still have your old ones, you still have all the other lanterns, and now you're kind of like, but here's one more. And then obviously you mentioned to me, and I didn't even know this, now that there's an Omega Lantern, and now there's it's all other stuff, and I'm like, great, can't can't wait for this
Yeah.
to ensue.
The Omega Lantern one surprised me. Like, I was like, okay, they announced that Roy Harper's coming back. Cool. Roy Harper is coming back. Was not expecting him to be a Black Lantern and then a souped up Black Lantern called an Omega Lantern. That, if you guys haven't read Infinite Frontier, sorry, spoilers, whatever. I'm just going to put like a giant spoiler warning on the whole video when I upload this to YouTube. But like Darkseid, a version of Darkseid from the multiverse, is on somewhere in between the multiverses, and he's channeling power to basically recreate or destroy, I can't remember exactly how it worked, all other versions of himself and empower himself that way. As well as become conqueror of all the multiverse. And it's awesome. But he resurrected Roy Harper somehow by doing that. And with the whole Dark Knight's death metal and the reconstruction of the universe and all that, we find out Roy Harper's daughter is alive. One of the reasons he went through so much turmoil and stuff, especially if you read the Red Hood and the Outlaws, where he never fully forgave himself, he's actually on a huge new mission now. What that also meant was that caused a bunch of new villains and heroes to reappear. One of my favorites, because I grew up with this new character, Red X in Titans. So, like, I'm happy to see Red X. I want to know who Red X is. I'm still waiting for that announcement. And I hope they never announce it.
We all knew that. We knew it from the show. It's Robin. Don't be stupid.
It's not Robin. They already confirmed in the comic that it's not Jason Todd. So,
well,
because Red Hood still exists, so we gotta figure this out.
I'm sure they'll find someone or they'll retcon someone and it will be insane.
It's going to be Hal Jordan.
Oh my. It'll be Guy Gardner.
Oh, God.
Everyone's favorite Green Lantern. But no, that's kind of in a year. I mean, there's so much there. You could go over. I mean, a year is a long time for things to happen and things to go down. Obviously, more comics than one came out and storylines and whatnot. But what do you think? What are you looking forward to that came out this week? If you even have a chance to look, I don't know how.
Well, I have a box next to me full of comics that I haven't fully read yet.
Are they all from when we were in college?
No, actually, this is a brand new box I bought like last week.
How are you?
Yeah, weird thing enough, comic book industry, especially the print side, is slowly dying to a degree. But the comic book stores, because of Magic cards, the graphic novels that are still taking off, and pretty much all the collectibles that go around all the nerdy stuff in the world, plus clothing and all this other stuff, there's a lot more comic book stores out there. On my way home, there's like 3 or 4. So, yeah, I have a lot of opportunity. And I personally like variants. I didn't know this existed, but I found out about it this week. If you haven't watched the Harley Quinn animated series, which I love to death, it is so funny. They actually are continuing that right now as a comic. And we can hear that straw.
Yeah, thanks. It's I was trying so hard.
I love your face on that one, actually.
Continue with Harley Quinn.
Yeah, so it's called the Eat Bang Kill Tour.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's just Warp Tour. They just renamed it.
You know, that would be a great name to rename it to.
Yeah, it would.
But no, it's actually pretty good. Especially if you've watched the show fully. It expands like immediately after the show, and I bought every comic of it. with the variants. So, yes, I still collect the variants, including my roommates give me crap for it, but it was a variant, so I bought it. There's like 2 sexy Nightwing ones that I have. One for the new comic book series called Robins, and then one for Nightwing.
You'd never buy those. Never.
I actually debated on not doing it, but I was just like, you know what? It's a variant, and if I ever do sell these, they'll probably be worth something.
I debated on not doing it for 2 seconds, and then I was like, I mean, who am I? Let's be honest.
But so there was that. The new Spider-Man series. I don't know if the new issue came out this week. I just saw it this week, but it's getting interesting. Ben Reilly's back as Spider-Man, not just a clone. He's actually taking over for Peter Parker.
He's Scarlet Spider.
I mean, normally, but right now he's not. He works for the company called the Beyond Corporation. And he's like a corporate Spider-Man, and it's actually an interesting story, which sounds weird. Especially considering, like, Peter Parker's, like, last words to anyone before he went into a coma was, like, you got this, pretty much, to Ben Reilly. It's like, wow, cool.
Oh, good Lord.
What?
You got this. You're fine. Just that. Like, you got this. You're cool. It's good.
Yeah, no, you got this. Go for it. But, no, I mean, I think that's probably the better thing. Like, Ben Reilly doesn't exist. So, like, he doesn't really have a secret identity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, at the same time, like, if anyone could be a corporate Spider-Man, it would be a clone of Spider-Man. So.
If you look at it like that.
Yeah. And thank you, Corey. I know you're watching the stream. It says, I'll never forget that. I don't know what you'll never forget, but okay.
Probably you find variants, which is something, and I'll attest to it too. Because I was going through my old comic books, and I was like, I do have a lot of variant covers, but mostly we hit a stride where we were buying comics during the 75th anniversary kind of year things. So like, I have a lot of random comics that are like Green Lantern 75th anniversary, and I know you have a lot of the Batman ones.
Oh yeah.
So
I even bought bags and boards.
As far as this week goes, there's a couple interesting ones you didn't touch on, but that's neither here nor there. First one that I noticed is Batman 119 is The Abyss Part 2.
I don't know. I haven't been liking the Batman series lately.
I mean, I don't know who Abyss is. Can you give a history on that if you know?
That's the problem. I don't really know on that, but I know it's part of this whole thing that came out of the Joker War right now. It's a new... Mm-hmm. And Corey's talking about the 2 sexy Nightwings. Yep. No. So, like, this comes out of Joker War. If you don't know, this is 2020 that the Joker War happened. One of the best stories I've seen in a long time since Scott Snyder, honestly. The Joker's, by some means or some way, I don't remember exactly how, finds out Bruce Wayne is Batman and takes his fortune and ownership of literally everything that Batman owns, including at some point taking his mansion, which had his Batcave and all his Bat armor. And it becomes this whole thing across Gotham. He even wiped the memory of Nightwing and stuff like that through drugs and chemical means. And Nightwing was like this violent sociopath during that, which is actually kind of great. But, but Batman is now operating because he can't prove to other people that he's Batman. If they see the correlation that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person, like Bruce Wayne has money again. Hey, Batman's up and running and doing all his normal stuff again. They'll connect it. So he's pretty much laying low, going, if you haven't read it or seen it, year one kind of thing. And it's a lot harder for him, especially now that he's so much older. And he's kind of falling into, and I think this is kind of the parallel, an abyss. He just fought and supposedly, quote unquote, died to Peacemaker. What was it, 19 or something like that? Or 16 or something? Which I think that's a cool villain. And Scarecrow's taking over Gotham. So it's
terrifying.
It's a very terrifying thing, but it has a good base, but there's so much going on with it in it that it's kind of like too much. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know, if the Batman being broke thing was its own separate thing, like a whole storyline or like a separate comic thing, I'd be all on for it, especially if he's going for like fighting Scarecrow, who's taking over Gotham as a separate storyline. Like, that would be cool. Like, two separate stories happening that you can read about. But right now it's just like there's so much going on in one story that it's kind of a mess. So, but
well, to keep on with the DC related comics, Suicide Squad number 11, and this is Suicide Squad versus Earth 8's Mightiest Heroes. And it just seems like, from what I can tell, Suicide Squad's kind of on the run, and they run into Earth 8. And I don't know anything about Earth 8, but their character names are hilarious.
what are their names?
So you have American Crusader 2.
So Captain America.
Blood Pouch.
What would that be?
Clown. Thing Man.
Is he a rock?
No, he looks like Cthulhu. Behemoth. Dead Red. Machine Head 2. Purple Rain. Thrill
The
Kill.
Machine Head 1.
I don't know. Ladybug. Oedipus. And Red Dragon and Wounded
I
Jade.
do not want to know who Oedipus is.
I don't know. It's crazy looking. But yeah, so that's coming out. And my favorite part about this is, like, the Suicide Squad always is changing, but for some reason this one also includes Superboy. And I was like, oh, that's terrifying.
There's something about that, like, he's trying to, like, reform them or something like that, I think. I
don't know, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a fair fight. Who knows? But yeah, so that's coming out. So that's exciting if you're into Suicide Squad. Next one, and interesting from the Marvel side, it's X-Men number 6. There's a new hero on the X-Men, and Cyclops does not want them there.
Is that the whole story?
Like, that's what it's called. It seems like they're Captain Krakoa, I think is the name of the hero, maybe.
What?
I think it's Captain Krakoa. The cover looks crazy. It's just like a new hero.
Like, Captain Krakoa sounds like some alcohol I have in my kitchen.
Captain Krakoa is actually revealed in this issue.
Interesting.
He's plant-based. So, I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know anything about the hero, but it looks cool, and it's interesting because the new X-Men is always fun. And then finally, the last one is Wastelanders Doom number 1. So now, Dr. Doom, who's the leader of the Wastelands, to have his whole story, which is cool.
I mean, how do you feel about all those changes in, like, the Marvel? Like, freaking X-Men have a country and a planet, and then Doctor Doom has a desert and a country, and Peter Parker owns a mega corporation. Like,
It's hard because as you have to let comics grow, you have to let stories change, you have to let things evolve and change along with them. But it's so hard to look at things and go, I know you're just trying to be different, but maybe, you know, do something easy before you start doing this, walk before you can run. But I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting. It doesn't sound like it's going to be the worst thing in the world.
like at a certain point, it's just like you have a planet. Like, what else do you want? A universe? Like,
I don't know. It's weird. It's different. I think as comics grow, they have to change and adapt, and I can't blame them for trying to do something different. I could think that it's a bit much, but at the end of the day, we're so used to like the classics, so to speak, that it's like, all right, I guess we'll, you know,
go with
change it
it.
up drastically. I don't know. I mean, I can see it. What are your thoughts? Do you like drastic changes? Do you think they should have kind of
I like
led to
drastic. I like it drastic, but I don't like it like. How do I put it? Like, say you know a kid for your whole life, and he worked hard. He never was really loose with his money or anything like that. And then you see him after like a year, and he has a Ferrari, a mansion, and he's spending every dollar like it's raining or like the world's going to end or something like that. Like that's pretty much how I feel about it. It's like it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things where I look at it and I go, okay, I get it. I mean, I could look at this. You could kind of talk the same thing about like death metal.
I mean, yeah, you can actually like death metal got real weird.
Yeah. I mean, it got weird. They started retconning things that they haven't changed in years and years, and it's like, oh boy.
I love though that Scott Snyder's last thing he did with DC was pretty much like, hey, I'm gonna fix every universe.
Bruh. If you haven't read Death Metal, I highly recommend it, or at least read up or do whatever. It's the most mind-boggling thing, but it's just he just dropped the mic and walked away and said, "Fine, I got this." Me and Greg Capullo.
I mean, to be honest, like the fact that the first one inspired a lot of metal artists to actually ask DC if they could make an album together, and DC was like, you know what, sure, we'll do the cover work. And I have two of those right now that are dope. Like, it's insane. Like, Batman raises the dead. Let's see, Superman strangles people to death. Wonder Woman has a lasso of truth chainsaw. Like, what? And yet somehow the end of that story fixes every universe and retcon ever in the DC universe.
I mean, through Death Metal, you get some of the coolest characters ever. Like, also, I mean, in terms of like gamer talk, the most broken characters ever. Yeah, that's a whole other thing we could go on and on about. And Dawnbringer, the Red Death, all sorts of things.
I mean, apparently all you need is Batman with Joker juice and you're good.
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought all you need to be the strongest being on the planet is just a Green Lantern ring and the ability to force past its willpower? It's fine.
I like the fact though that like what was it? The Batman who laughs dies and then becomes Dr. Manhattan. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, he died. All right, well, now he's a god. Quite literally.
It's like, how do you go from step A to step B if C is somewhere in the middle?
Yep. Doesn't matter. There's no rules. But I think, I mean, as far as that's about it for this past week.
Yeah, no. I mean, what are you looking forward to in 2022? I guess.
I mean, I'm just looking forward to 2021 brought a lot of stories and brought a lot of changed a lot. Things got crazy, things got weird. I'm excited for 2022 to bring the aftermath. It's always you always have these big things, especially in like DC Comics. You had New 52, and then you had Rebirth, you have Flashpoint, you have all these, crisis events. And then you have such a build up, and then it happens, and then you're like, okay, now what? Now what are you gonna do? How are you gonna channel, this energy? I'm probably gonna try and read the new Green Lantern comics to see how she handles the destruction of the Lantern Corps. Like, how do you?
Apparently, you just give Jon Stewart a ring that has unlimited power and every emotion.
All it means. But I'm excited to see what they do moving forward, and I don't know if they're leading towards any new crisis event or any big event. I don't know.
And that's the thing. No one ever knows. And that's, I feel like, the best part. You don't know. Comics can go anywhere. Mm-hmm. Movies, you have to have something. But I don't know. I mean, there's some weird stuff coming out in the next year. One of the major ones I know is Lex Luthor becoming Batman. That's...
Sure, why not?
That's a thing. If you haven't read it, the Batman White Knight comics, which I highly recommend, both White Knight and the Curse of the White Knight, there's going to be a Batman Beyond the White Knight. That's made by the same artist and what's it called? Writer. I was going to say storyboarder, but I was like, that doesn't make sense. But no, I mean, then there's Moon Knight coming out later in the year. Doctor Strange 2, which supposedly is a direct sequel from No Way Home, and that's what, February? I think? March?
Can't be that soon, can it?
Morbius, I know, was supposed to be the end of this month, but it got pushed to April. Which, that made me upset.
May.
Wait, what? Really?
May for Doctor Strange 2.
I thought it was sooner than that. But...
It says on the internet May 6th.
I mean, a lot of things got pushed when Omicron came out. There's the new Spider-Man 2 game coming out. Hopefully we'll hear something about the new Wolverine game. And then I hope they end the Avengers game. Just when Fortnite does better web slinging than you, just stop. But God, I don't know if you saw that. Like, did you see that?
Yeah, the Avengers game web slinging. Listen, nothing will ever beat the classic like PlayStation game web slinging, but
I mean, Miles Morales is way more fun.
I believe it.
Like, the web slinging in Miles Morales is just fun, it's free, and it's just kind of actually relaxing. Just to do it for like an hour. But, like, I don't know, like, in pretty much any video game, no matter how big or how fast you can run, move, or whatever, fast travel is always, like, an option. I didn't even know fast travel existed in Spider-Man until after I beat it. And I never used it because it's just so much fun.
Yeah. I have this I have the ability to get from one place to another, not through a vehicle, and just by all means, cool. Why not?
Like, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you play a video game and you're just like, hey, I gotta run across the map, and there's no fast travel. What type of crap is this? Like, I was just there like 2 hours ago. Like, and now, like, the games like Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales exist, and you're just like, we have an option for fast travel? Okay, I still won't use it. Like, like, I think I used it once because I was literally on the exact opposite side of the map from where my mission was, and I was just like, I've done every side quest, so you know what? Sure.
What game I really want them to bring back, and I never will, and whatever that DC MOBA we played
Oh,
was.
Infinite Crisis?
Yeah.
That company went under.
Make it better. Someone take it over. And
Riot Games, get on
it. I would play so many hours of that game.
I was so upset. I was so upset by that game. I spent like what? I don't know, like $60, even though it was a free game, just to play so many different characters and stuff like that. And then like a month after I did that, it ends, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it was so weird for us. We got it and like, oh, this is great, and then it just stopped working. They put an announcement on the game, like, yeah, we're shutting down in like 3 months. Like, cool. Didn't want to play ever either.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I still think they should bring back like I don't know if you remember it, but Activision made some awesome Spider-Man games a while back, like Web of Shadows and like Edge of Time,
Yeah.
and I think it was like Shattered Dimensions. Like, you can't buy those anymore. Like, if you do buy them, they're like $80 because you can't buy them anymore.
Because you don't get that chance.
Like, mind you, they're probably like $20 to $30 games realistically, but like they were on Steam up until like, I don't know, our freshman year, and like I didn't think of anything of it. I was like, oh, they're just going to renew in like a month or two, and if I have the money, I'll whatever, I'll buy them. And then it's still to this day like what? Yeah, 8. Has it really been like 7 years? 5? Jesus, how many years have we been away from college?
I graduated in 2019, but our freshman year was the fall of 2014.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why does that make me feel old?
Well, sorry to say.
But no, like it's been a while, and people love that game. Like, I actually found the other day, like, tons of people are still live streaming it and stuff like that on YouTube, Twitch, and stuff like that, and they're like buying, or not buying, they're torrenting like the pirate versions of the game. So there's like tons of bugs and stuff like that. People are modding it to have like the same graphics as the PS5 versions, stuff like that, and it's just like, this is insane that people are doing this.
This is the future. We can do things like that now.
Yeah, I mean, if I could do that, and I mean, I could download the game. I'm probably not going to.
I could. I probably won't, but I could.
I have a $3,000 gaming PC that I built. I don't want to get a virus on it just to play Spider-Man, but but Kingdom Hearts all the way, Nah, I mean, I don't know. It's a whole new world that we're looking at now. Like, I think Thor comes out at the end of the year too, right? Anyone? Like, what's it called? Love and Thunder? Or maybe I'm thinking of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But, like...
July.
Thor this year?
Yeah. July 8th.
Jesus.
Love and Thunder.
And then, like, there's Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and then following that, there's Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. And there's actually a rumor that, what's his name? The guy who plays Thor.
Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, he's not going to be in Thor and Love and Thunder.
Are they going to do the female Thor?
Well, Natalie Portman's for sure in it, and so is Valkyrie.
Are they going to do Beta Ray Bill?
Let's hope. Who would you put as Beta Ray Bill? Like, I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I don't even know what Beta Ray Bill would sound like. It'd probably have to be a voice actor. You couldn't do Beta Ray Bill would just be all CGI.
What's that guy with the really scratchy voice that people use as a meme all the time? Like, if you're on TikTok, it's like, this is so wrong. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Godfrey?
Yeah. Like, put him...
I think Beta Ray Bill still has to do.
No, I know he does, but I would think that would be the best thing. Like, or like, you know, Kermit the Frog's voice, whichever.
I'm sure they probably get someone good. As much as we all want that now. I would not go see that movie if it was the voice of the main actor.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you go see the movie, and it's like the 3 Spider-Men. You don't know it's there, but oh, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think they need to do something kind of silly with Beta Ray Bill, or I mean, even Howard the Duck. Like, Seth Green is voiced and will apparently continue to be Howard the Duck in the MCU. And I'm just sitting there like, you keep showing him, you keep having him talk. You gonna do something with that? Like, Marvel bought the rights to Howard the Duck at some point, and they've made a few comics here and there, but it's just like, we know it's a joke, we know it's funny, we know it's weird. Do something with it.
Do something.
Like, I don't know if you've seen the Howard the Duck movie. Like, it is... it's a movie.
It is a movie.
But, oh my god, I just remember my dad showing me that the first time. I was like, what the hell is this?
Because you don't know. You don't know what it is.
Well, I didn't even think it was a comic book movie. I was just like, what the hell is this?
They've Howard the Duck, and all of a sudden he's just like in an event. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy or Avengers, so he like makes an appearance.
Both. He also had his own like private detective agency in New York, and it was separate from Jessica Jones's. I'm just like sitting there. It's like, who's going to trust a duck that can talk? How many people just walk up to you and scream?
Yeah. Like, oh gosh.
But I don't know. Like, I feel like he has to do something in Guardians of the Galaxy because I mean that's where he showed up the first time.
I don't know what, but that'd be awesome.
Like, I feel like if he is in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it's just going to be a joke consistently.
Also, random as we're talking here, I just looked up to see if I could find a clip of Beta Ray Bill's voice, and I found a video that's like, there's actually Corbinites, which is his like race, like in Avengers Endgame, and look at this, we might see him in Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm like, shut up! I don't. I want it, but I was not trying to manifest that.
I mean, anything can happen. For some reason, we're getting a Miss Marvel show. So.
Hey, man.
But. And Captain Marvel won't be in it, but both of them will be in the Marvels. It's like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the Marvels, except for like these main ones.
Yeah, like.
We don't care.
I don't even know anymore. Like, at a certain point, like, I'm excited for Armor Wars whenever that decides to be a thing.
Ugh.
Loki season 2. There was another one. The new Young Justice season's pretty great. It just ended on its season hiatus thing that it does, so it's coming back in the spring. If you haven't watched that, like that's really good. The last few episodes are a little weird because they keep doing flashbacks consistently, but
I want a second Invincible season.
oh, that actually is happening this year. Same with The Boys season 3.
3.
Yeah. Invincible. Wait, did you watch Invincible?
Yeah.
Is it just messed up, or like people keep telling me I'm really messed up for thinking that the train scene is my favorite scene of that whole series?
I mean, you are messed up, but that's not the reason why. No, I mean that's just the most. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but it's just a very like unsuspectingly gruesome scene that you're just not prepared for.
I love that it's not in the comic. That Amazon looked at that and was just like, you know what? Let's go for it.
You know what? Send it.
I was just like, who got that approved? Like, I want to meet the guy who talked to the Amazon TV people and was like, you know what? We're behind you on this one.
You know what? You got this. 100%, which is crazy.
I don't even know how you get that approved. Like, I've seen some messed up things on TV, but like that is probably one of the worst.
In all honesty, I think they probably were just like, here, everyone's gonna love this and talk about it. It'll be publicity to some extent.
And that's the problem I feel like with a lot of TV and movies. Is like I'm gonna be straight up honest. If you're excited for The Matrix, I'm sorry for you. That movie is a huge disappointment in so many ways. But people are talking about it. Like, so people are going to watch it like, what was that terrible movie? Some really bad movie that... I think I watched it with you. Like,
is it recent?
No, I think we watched it in college. It was like, there was some movie that was just god-awful. Oh, actually, here's one. I actually saw it on Amazon Prime, and I found out it was added to Amazon Prime by request. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Is that the live action one?
Yep.
Ugh. It's awful. I'm sure if they did a live action one now, they could make it better, but it's real hard.
The funny part is the effects weren't that bad. It just was really bad.
Listen, live action things don't necessarily need to happen.
Mortal Kombat was
a movie.
Did you see it?
It wasn't the worst thing. It was better than the first one.
I'm happy they at least made a new character to tell the story. You know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, oh, he literally has plot armor.
Yeah. Well, here's the hard part. Here's the thing that kills me is Mortal Kombat. It's like, look at this tournament of champions, da-da-da, and it's like, have you seen the movie Bloodsport? Okay, like that's more
the Vin Diesel one.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh yeah, okay.
But still, it's like the same idea. It's a tournament of champions. Just this time, it's not, and it's such a fan servicey movie, and not at all the point of what we're trying to talk about. But
I mean,
yeah.
That's the point though. Like this podcast, it's a new year. We're going back at this. We're changing it up. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about sci-fi things now with Jesse. But like, we're not just going to talk about superheroes. We're going to talk about other crap. Like, The Witcher show was amazing. Like, I did not expect that to be as amazing as it is, especially because every time I look at him, I think Superman. Just like,
yeah, Henry Cavill did a good job, like forcing you to not think of him as Superman.
But at the same time, like, I love Avengers Endgame. I love all of the Captain America movies, except for... No, actually, I do like them all pretty much. But, like, I'm still waiting for the day that Chris Evans shows up on screen again and says "Flame On," which I have hope. I have high hope because supposedly the new Fantastic Four movie is mixing old and new members from the movies.
You could do it. You could show like he's still wearing like a blue suit. You could kind of be really sneaky about it, and all of a sudden he says it, and you're like, "Yep, this is a Chris Evans I know."
Like that's perfect. Like, but like they're saying that the new cast is going to be a mixture of old and new people who've played the characters before, and we're going to see where it's at. I just hope we don't have the weird Storm siblings like we did in the most recent version of the Fantastic Four, which I will probably get hated on, but
It's what it is. You put it out there.
yeah, I mean, they were never adopted siblings, so I don't know. It hurts my soul thinking about it. But Corey, shut up.
Here's the point, though.
I mean, aren't we all though? Like,
I mean, you're also cynical to your own fandoms. You did admit that you don't like the most recent iterations of a lot of the Bat Family stuff.
yeah, like, I don't know. It's weird. They have some cool looks though.
They do look good.
Yeah, but
well, I think we're wrapping up because even with our break, we've probably hit an hour and a half. Pretty close.
yeah, I think that this should be good stopping point. I mean, what do you want to talk about next week? Like, hopefully we have Jesse back, so we can dive into the whole sci-fi world of things.
We have Jesse back. It's going to be an hour and a half of Star Wars. So I know. We'll have to see what comes out. And you see anything new, we can talk what comes out next week in comics. Talk about who knows what. We'll figure it out. I'm sure as soon as we can.
Yeah. Well,
The wind's our oyster.
if you haven't noticed in the bottom right corner, it's asking you to subscribe